Today our topic is the industry track at Bica 2014. The panelists are Alex James and Lee Scheffler. If you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick.
I'm a graduate of MIT, spent 40 years in the computer industry as a chief software architect and chief technology officer of several companies. About 4 years ago, I decided to try my hand at cognitive software development, and here I am.
Wonderful.
I'm Alex. I'm head of department for electrical engineering at Nazarbayev University, and actually in memory-stive computing and architectures, largely at design of ICs, integrated circuits, which are largely focused like brain-inspired computing. And my interest to BICA is largely because it has a mix of all those interest components that I have in the field. Thank you.
So we'll ask the questions like to each of you at a time, I guess. So Lee, what do you expect to get from this conference, and what would you like to see there?
I have two reasons for being at the conference. One is to catch up on the current state of the art in cognitive computing, and the second one is I'm there to introduce the technology I've developed over the last few years that I think has great potential in accelerating research and development in cognitive software.
Wonderful. And Alex, what are you expecting?
Yeah. My main interest is I'd like to actually see cross boundaries between the neuroscience field and how I can apply those concepts in actually designing neuron architectures and IC design largely. So that's my primary interest, to actually meet collaborators across board to see the possibility to extend the concepts from the neuron field into like an IC design field.
All right. And Lee, what funded projects are you pursuing or planning to pursue that others should be aware of?
Well, right now, all my work is self-funded, no affiliations at the moment, and I'm certainly looking for funding.
Fair enough. Alex, what funded projects are you pursuing or planning to pursue?
Currently, I do have one project which is funded by the university. Largely, it's a initial startup funding, which involves us to design a small neuron chip, largely for biometric applications. And we have a couple of other projects in line for funding. One is accepted for funding, which is largely with Oxford University. Another one, we are working currently, like we submitted a proposal with University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, both on neuron-based architectures.
Very interesting. So Lee, what missing capabilities and in what time frame do you need for your projects?
Well, the technology I've got is purposely open to enable easy integration with other existing technologies with growing synergy, and to allow it to be incorporated in other research and development programs. There are lots of vectors to extend and enrich this technology. I think building working models of cognitive functions based on biologically plausible components may be a route to understanding how brains do it. And I hope to kindle a growing, broad-based collaborative effort at whatever pace makes sense.
All right. And Alex, what about you?
Our main requirement, what we are looking at is to have some real expertise in neuron feedback mechanisms in visual cortex. We're trying to see various different types of neural mechanisms by which you can have a better representation of imaging and feature imaging, and that requires us to have cross-disciplinary expertise from neuroscience background, and that's what we are missing at this moment, and we are looking for next year sometime to have those expertise on board.
And so, Lee, what technologies and capabilities can you provide to collaborators?
Well, by the conference date, I expect to have a website with descriptive material and especially some video showing demonstrations of how to use the technology I'm introducing in a variety of cognitive tasks. The website will offer an email sign-up interest list and leading, I hope, within several months to a redistributable kit to allow people to start to use the technology and experiment with it. And the technology supports redistributable components and sub-assemblies and whole applications. So if this proves interesting, then I would be supporting a collaborative exchange of components and applications with the technology.
Wonderful. And Alex, what technologies or capabilities can you provide to collaborators?
I have two different areas that we actually look at. One is largely hardware-based, IC design, memory stick computing, and threshold logic. That's one area that we work on. And the other area is like sparse signal processing and computing. So these are the two areas that we can offer as an expertise. We do have other expertise that go along with in terms of device characterization and the process level integration of the IC. So those sort of expertise we can offer straight away.
So Lee, what new funded research program would you like to see created in the near future?
Well, I, of course, would love to attract funding on any and all of the potential directions that we can take my technology.
Of course. All right.
Alex, are there any funded research programs that you'd like to see?
We are very much keen on on the issue of scalability of these architectures, because that's one of the major problems in the design of cognitive architectures on an integrated chip. What we would like to see is to work on projects that would enable us to scale various models onto a large number of transistors and ICs. So that's the main area that we are looking at.
All right. And do you guys have any additional comments or open questions that people should be aware of? I guess Lee, if you want to start.
I'll just mention that I chose Bica for introducing this technology just because of its breadth and biological grounding and openness, and it seemed like a good place to start and a good fit for my thinking. And I'm especially appreciative of the Bica comparative architecture chart. That was real life preserver and educational resource when I started my work in this area 4 years ago, and I appreciated that.
And Alex?
I would really like to see a lot of colleagues working in the area, on different area, and also we would be interested to actually take in people. We have several vacancies on board, like for next year. So we would definitely like to have some people, potential PhD students, postdocs or research fellows, scientists. We could. And I see that as an opportunity to meet people who could be future colleagues as well.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you guys so much.
It's a pleasure to meet you both, and good luck with your projects.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy the